Welcome to the Ancestors' Table, a feast with those who came before us. They didn't come here to be thanked. They came because they are proud, and because love this old doesn't need a reason. This story is set in the world of the Winged Tavern, a place that welcomes all in every form. Tonight, the table is longer than usual. The guests arrived before you did. They have been waiting with the particular patience of those who understand, better than most, that everything arrives in its own time. Find a comfortable place, close your eyes, and let your breath slow. Someone you come from is here tonight. Many someones. You arrive at the Winged Tavern to find it transformed. Not unrecognizably, the fire is still in its hearth. The lanterns still hang from the beams. Rowan is still behind the bar. But the tables have been pushed together into one long table that runs nearly the length of the room. And it is set, properly, carefully, lovingly set, with candles and cups and plates laden with food of all kinds. Bread warm from some oven that you can't locate. Dishes that smell like something you ate at someone's table a very long time ago. Things you forgot you remembered until this moment. The chairs along the table are filled. You can't quite see the faces clearly at first. Not from darkness, there's plenty of light, but from something else. Something about how your eyes adjust to what they're seeing. They are people. They were people. Or they are people still, depending on how you understand time and form. Dozens of them. Hundreds, it feels like, though the room shouldn't hold that many. All seated, all waiting, all turned toward the door as you enter. The nearest one stands. She is not tall, but her presence is. She has white hair pinned up with a particular neatness of someone who grew up in an era when appearance was dignity, and she carries herself with the straight-backed composure of a woman who has seen a great deal and allowed very little of it to disturb her fundamental sense of herself. Her eyes are bright and dark, and they are looking at you with an expression that is not quite a smile, and not quite tears, but is somehow both at once. You know her, in the way the tavern gives you knowing, not through memory exactly, but through blood. "Come in then," she says. Her voice has an accent you can't quite place, but recognize in your bones. We've been keeping it warm. Her name is Sallie. She is your great-great-grandaunt, and she died in 1948. And she is setting a plate at the head of the table and looking at you as though you are, quite simply, the best thing she has seen in a very long time. You sit. The chair is warm. Someone was sitting here before you, or the warmth has been held here in anticipation. Either way, it settles around you like something welcoming. Sallie sits beside you and folds her hands on the table with the composure of someone who folds her hands often and finds it settling. Around the table, the assembled company relaxes slightly, the way a crowd relaxes when a person they've been waiting for finally arrives, and now the thing they came for can begin. You look down at the long table, face after face, some of them familiar in the way that your own face is familiar. The architecture of a cheekbone, or the set of a jaw recurring across generations. Others entirely unknown. People whose names you've never learned. Lives you have no record of, except that they lived and survived and passed something to the person next to them, and ultimately, eventually, to you. The food is real. You eat. It tastes like memory. Not a specific memory, but the quality of memory. The warmth of a meal eaten in safety, in company, in the unrepeatable combination of hunger and belonging. You don't know most of us, says Sallie beside you, without preamble. This is how she speaks, directly, without wasting the beginning. And that's all right. We know you. Down the table, murmured agreement. The sound of many people who share an opinion, expressing it simultaneously, in the register of a room that has been waiting a long time to say something. They talk. You listen. And gradually, over the course of the meal, you begin to understand what they have come to give you. Not information, not instruction, not the dramatic revelation of hidden family secrets, though some of those are there too, sidelong and gentle, offered the way you offer a heavy thing to someone who's ready to receive it. What they have come to give you is context. They show you, without showing you exactly, more like demonstrating through their presence, through the sheer fact of all of them at this table, how long the line is that you are the current end of, how many survivals preceded yours, how many moments of impossible difficulty were navigated by people with less than you have, with fewer tools, with no language for what they were going through, and no community to witness it. The woman 3 seats down, whose name you don't know, catches your eye and nods once. The nod of someone who carried something specific for a long time and is glad you are the one setting it down. The man at the far end of the table, very old, raises his cup toward you. A dozen faces you will not remember clearly when you wake, but whose warmth you will carry. The warmth of being known across time. You carry every wound this family ever had, says Sallie. She says it plainly, without tragedy, as a fact that is also a statement of something more than just fact. Every pattern, every we don't talk about that, and you are breaking them, one by one, in your body, in your choices, in your stubborn, beautiful refusal to pass them forward. The table is quiet. Not the quiet of people waiting for someone to speak. The quiet of people who have just witnessed something that they came specifically to witness. Sallie places one hand briefly over yours. Her hand is warm and dry and small and completely certain. That's why we're here, she says. Not because you needed anything from us, because we needed to see you. We needed to see that you made it to this table. The meal goes on. The candles burn steady. The fire in the hearth answers the candles, and the room holds the warmth of a gathering of many people who have something genuine in common. Eventually, gradually, in the way that gathering ends, not all at once, but in small increments, a conversation completing, a presence becoming quieter, a chair at the edge of the long table gently empty. The ancestors begin to leave, not sadly, with the specific satisfaction of someone who came and did what they came to do. Sallie stays until near the end. When she finally rises, she smooths her dress with the automatic gesture of someone who always smooths her dress when she rises, and she looks at you for a long moment without speaking. Then she says, "Anyway," which means, in the language of Sallie, which is the language of all the ones who came before you, this is not the end. This was never the end. The line continues. You continue it. And we are proud. She walks away down the room and does not look back, because she is Sallie, and she has never been one for dramatic exits. And before she reaches the door, she has already faded into the light that belongs to those who no longer need a body to be present. The long table is nearly empty. Rowan is moving quietly, clearing dishes, with the careful respect of someone handling things that have been touched by important hands. You sit for a while longer in your warm chair at the head of the ancestors' table, in the Winged Tavern, with the fire burning and the candles still lit, and the feeling in your chest of something that is larger than gratitude and simpler than love, and has no good word for it in any language you know, but exists in the body as unmistakably as anything ever has. You are not the first. You will not be the last. But you are the one at this table, in this body, at this time, and you are exactly enough. The fire burns. The last candle at the far end of the long table flickers once and steadies. Rowan brings you something warm and sweet, and she sits briefly in the chair that Sallie occupied. She does love you, she says simply. All of them do, in the way that love that old loves, without needing to be in the room. You drink your drink. The tavern settles around you into its evening quiet. The fairies in the rafters murmur their light language softly. The great warm presence of Nefrit breathes in the corner. Sleep gathers you slowly, the way it always does here. Gently, completely, like being folded into something that knows exactly how to hold you. The ancestors have been here. You felt them. They felt you. That is enough. That has always been enough.